All right, let me start with the play-in games. And this circulated yesterday. I don't know if actual former NBA players or NBA writers are suggesting this, but it came out that the Lakers should somehow tank tonight against the Pelicans to avoid then moving on and facing the Denver Nuggets. And my logic, my suggestion to this stupid suggestion was, you're going to eventually have to run into Denver. I'd rather face Denver now than I would later. And then let's say you lose. Now you face the Warriors, who have won 10 of their last 12 and 3 straight against you. Or Sacramento. Sacramento's beaten you 5 times in a row. How did we get to this point that the Lakers should somehow tank tonight to avoid facing the Nuggets the next round?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I was part of those conversations yesterday, and I took the opposite approach as you did. I just don't buy into it. I think competitive integrity says you go out there and you try to win. Like, I understand if it so happens that the Lakers were to lose the game, and then you assume they win the next game against the winner of the Golden State-Sacramento game, which I think is a reach because of what you just said, the success those two teams have had against the Lakers this year. But let's just say you go ahead and make that leap, and now they're in. There's no doubt that it's a better series for them to play Oklahoma City than Denver. Like, there's no denying that. And that's where the basis of this comes from. And also this dire need that some people have for the Lakers to continue to play on. Like, how are we going to survive if the Lakers aren't continuing to play? I've actually made jokes, Dan, that once they're eliminated, whenever that may be, let's say they don't make the playoffs. They lose in the play-in 2 games. Let's just say that happens. I said we'd be 3 games into the first round of the actual playoffs. And one of the questions I would get asked on the air, I guarantee you, is how do you think the Lakers would be doing right now if they were still alive? Like, this is the mentality. I think that's what it is more than anything. It's inconceivable to people to think we're going to have a postseason without LeBron in it. So let's figure out the best way to ensure that they have a longer run. And that's avoid Denver as long as you can. Obviously, I'm fully against it. I think, number one, you're putting yourself in a precarious situation because then you're in a 1-game situation to go home for the summer against either Golden State or Sacramento. Okay? And now you don't even get to participate in the postseason. If you put yourself intentionally in that situation, a rolled ankle, Anthony Davis gets another back spasm, somebody has a bad shooting night, foul trouble, anything can happen in a 1-game situation to prevent you from even getting a shot at the Denver Nuggets. So I'm fully against it. I don't think the Lakers are going to buy into it.
Yeah, but how could you
win tonight and they're going to win?
Tim, you would be throwing a game.
Correct.
Cleveland did this at the end of the regular season.
Yes.
They pulled their best players because they wanted to set up a better matchup in the postseason.
Yes.
I mean, you can't. How do you manipulate a game like this without drawing attention from the commissioner?
You can't. The league would come down heavy. And here's the other thing, Dan, no one's raised the prospect. What if New Orleans had the same idea? So what do we got tonight? We got a bunch of backups playing each other in a playoff game? Like, this is what we're going to do. The league would come down with a heavy hammer if that were the case. Now, we'll say this. At the end of the regular season, if you know that you're going to be one of those top 6 teams, like you're in a playoff series, you already know that. You see it all the time. It's going on for decades. Manipulation of players to try to affect who you would play. But at least you know you're going to have a 7-game series against somebody. This is totally different. This would be literally putting your season in the hands of 1 game, 1 night. Do we get to move on? Because that's what you'd be left with. Winner goes, loser goes home if you ended up playing the winner of the 9-10 in that situation. So I just don't think the Lakers want to bring themselves to the precipice of going home for the summer. Take your shot at the Nuggets, win the game tonight, take your shot at the Denver Nuggets. You've got LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That the psyche of those 2 players, particularly LeBron, shouldn't be to duck anybody. Go play them. And yeah, you'll probably lose that series, as will every team probably in the Western Conference that sees them.